Chosen one, stop right here. Do not rush. Heaven has pressed pause on your timeline so you would not miss this moment. It is no accident that you're reading these words. You felt it for years. The weight, the restless nights, the quiet whisper that told you cannot live like everyone else. While others seemed satisfied with distractions, something inside of you kept burning like a candle in the middle of a storm. The winds blew, the rains poured, yet your flame would not go out. That fire is proof of your divine election. And now, here's what will shock you. You're being watched, not just by people around you, but by heaven itself, and even by leaders of this world. Elon Musk has millions of eyes on him. Yet even he studies the unseen, searching for visionaries who carry a spark the world cannot explain. That same spark is in you, the one God placed there before you were even born. Think about it. A rocket sits in silence for months before launch. To outsiders, it looks lifeless, forgotten. But behind the scenes, engineers work tirelessly, preparing for a single explosive moment that will change history. You are that rocket. The years of delay, rejection, and preparation were never wasted. Heaven has been aligning your launch window. It is not because you are weak that you are powerful, nor is it because you are forgotten, but rather because heaven remembers you and hell targets you. The adversary unleashes storms intended to drown a life, while fate hovers above it. Your evenings have been restless because of this. Why have you been thinking so much? Why you have been surrounded by temptations like wolves encircling a lamb? Here's the reality, however. There is a serious risk, but God's purpose is bigger. The goal is to elevate you rather than kill you, to put a crown of fire on your head rather than quiet you. Although this chapter may seem grim, the author has not yet completed a sentence. Your life is being written like a narrative. A young chosen one previously lived in a tiny community, forgotten by everyone else. He spent his days wondering why his prayers didn't appear to be answered. However, God was honing him like an arrow in the quiver during that time of stillness. That arrow was launched at the appropriate moment and shot directly into fate. Because your waiting has not been in vain, you may be able to identify with this narrative. Heaven secretly sharpens its tools. Pay close attention. You were sculpted for a higher spot, which is why you can't fit in. You have been on the verge of giving up, and this is your summons from above. Don't wait. Don't make any concessions. Avoid waiting for a better opportunity. Your lifeline is right now. Proverbs 18 verse 10 is where the Bible makes this declaration. The Lord's name is a powerful tower. The virtuous are safe and rush to it. Poetry for someone else's life is not what this is. Your shield is this. You're not in danger. You're not left defenseless. Type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Right now, you are being encouraged to enter a state of divine protection. I beg you, chosen one, to allow this message to take root before you scroll away and before the world's cacophony drowns out this holy whisper. Please subscribe, like, and share. Therefore, this message keeps getting to you and other people who are marked, waging quiet wars, and waiting for confirmation. Comment on the number 77 as an indication of alignment and a sign that you have just heard from heaven. It's not for the masses. It's for you. Remind yourself that while you are in danger, you're not alone. God's hand is drawing you back, even if you're on a brink. You have been selected, and those who are selected are never forgotten. Selected one, I have another item to tell you. You are not weak because of whatever scar you bear. It serves as a survival record. The precise proof that you were saved came from the wars that ought to have killed you. Can you see it now? Your mission has not ended if God has permitted you to remain here. Think of your life as a book with ripped, smeared, and discolored pages. Only the damage was visible to the public. Heaven, however, notices that the author's pen is still writing. The ripped pages do not specify the following chapter. The fact that the ink of grace is still pouring defines it. At a doorway, you stand. You may connect yourself with destiny by taking one step forward. You get into painful loops after taking one step back. Today's call is not a kind recommendation. It's a rescue. Don't wait. Don't overlook this. Someone is calling for you. Selected one. This is something you have to know before you even take a breath. You were marked already. Heaven's records included your name. Furthermore, no one else's experience was intended to resemble yours. This is the reason you often felt alienated and unfit to fit in. God never neglected you, even if others may have. The fact that you are marked from birth is mysterious. You feel that the world sees something in you, but doesn't know what it is, because their light disturbs the darkness around them. Children with calling often encounter opposition, early mockery, misinterpretation, and rejection. Maybe you have childhood memories of times when you were unable to explain why you were treated differently by others. It wasn't a random act. It was recognition on a spiritual level. Imagine a precious gem lying deep below the ground. It seems to be a typical stone at first sight, dull and coated with grime. However, concealed therein are facets that will emit unparalleled brightness after being cut and polished. You were born to be that gem. Something that the world could not see was implanted in you by God. Yes, the cutting, pressing, and polishing have been unpleasant, but they are required to bring out the light inside. This motif appears often throughout the texts. Even as a small child, Joseph had more goals than his town could support. Even after being crowned king, David had to lead sheep in obscurity. Type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Chapter 139 in the book of Psalms serves as a reminder from God. In verse 16, Jeremiah was informed, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." The mark of heaven does not wait for maturity. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one came to be. It is written right at the start. However, loneliness is often brought on by this marking. Sometimes you sat silently while others laughed unrestrained. You questioned, struggled, and wished for more while others seemed satisfied. Your spirit was tuned to a higher frequency, which is why you were designed for deep rivers. Therefore, you couldn't find tranquility in small waters. There's a tale of a young lady who tried to hide her unique sense of purpose by blending in for years. She joined the group, imitated their movements, and even made an effort to conceal the burning sensation in her chest. She eventually understood that the agony was not punishment, but the more she attempted to conceal it, the heavier it became. It was evidence that she was unique. What she believed to be her weakness turned out to be her strength. Selected one. This is also your reality. In reality, every rejection season served as a reroute. God's hand was drawing you apart for himself every time you were excluded. You've been curious as to why certain doors have never opened. Why did some partnerships end? Why seemingly promising avenues ended in dead ends? The reason for this is because heaven will not let you to dwell in areas that are too tiny for your task. Imagine a caged bird. The bird's wings will beat against the bars of the cage, no matter how much gold is used to adorn it. Rebellion is not that restlessness. It's instinct. You were not made for cage decoration. You were made to fly, and heaven has been preparing the heavens from birth. You're supposed to fill the selected one. Now look at the patterns. All of the delays were preparatory. It was becoming sharper with each quiet. Your mark is not easily broken. It never dies. And soon, there will be no more hiding of what was concealed. Even if the world didn't notice you back then, it will be unable to ignore what God is about to show through you. Selected one. Maybe you've struggled with the question, why me? Why does my life seem so weighty and different? Asking this question shows awareness rather than weakness. The only people who struggle with such notions are those who have heavenly fingerprints. Since you were a little kid, your spirit has known that your trip was unusual. The seal on you is shown by that awareness alone. Imagine a seed buried deep in the ground. There hasn't been any indication of life above ground for a while. People can go by believing nothing is going on. However, under the surface, roots are growing, strength is developing, and the sprout emerges when the moment is right. That's your life. The years of secrecy have not been in vain. They've been preparing for an above-ground manifestation beneath. The time for your emergence is almost here. Selected one. I'm aware of the burden you have borne, the struggles that go unnoticed by others. the ones that don't cry in public, the weight that lies underneath your grin. These aren't arbitrary. They are indications that you are the target of a conflict. Attacks would be normal if your life were normal. However, you are not like the others. The conflicts have been so intense because of this. Light draws resistance, which is why you may have asked yourself, why does it feel like I fight more than others? Why is my road filled with so many obstacles? Flies are not drawn to an unlit bulb. However, everything in the dark gets disrupted the instant it flashes. You are that. What is unholy is unsettled by your mere presence. Imagine a violin played by a skilled player. It is quiet and invisible while at rest. But every ear turns as soon as the bow strikes its strings, filling the room with music. In the same manner, everything around you has to react when your calling starts. Your life's stress isn't a punishment. It's resonance. Darkness shudders at the sound of the song that heaven is drawing from you. This truth is reflected in the texts. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians chapter 4 verse 8, "We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair." What you are enduring now is not a sentence of defeat. Type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. It is proof that you are still standing, still breathing, still chosen. And now comes the moment where I must speak to you plainly. These struggles are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to define you. The very pain you wish would vanish is carving out the strength you will one day use to lift others. Every sleepless night has been training. Every rejection has been sharpening. Every heartbreak has been building resilience. You're not weak. You're being fortified. Chosen one, I want you to pause and write this below. Fire in me. These 3 words may seem simple, but they carry a prophetic weight. By declaring them, you are acknowledging that no matter what has tried to extinguish you, the flame of God still burns inside. You are confessing that your spirit is not cold, not dead, not empty. It is alive with fire. This fire is your strength, your vision, your calling. The more you write it, the more you align yourself with heaven's truth. You are not defined by ashes. You are defined by flame. So do not despise these silent battles. They are birthing something greater in you. You will one day look back at this season and realize it was not the end of you. It was the making of you. Chosen one, let me take you deeper. When you wrote the words fire in me, you did more than type a phrase. You made a declaration to the unseen realm. Fire has always symbolized God's presence. Think of Moses who stood before a burning bush that was not consumed. That fire announced destiny. It marked the beginning of his calling. When you speak fire in me, you are aligning yourself with that same presence. You're saying the flame of heaven is alive in me, and it cannot be put out. Len, this fire does 3 things in your life. First, it purifies, just as gold is refined in the furnace. Your trials are burning away what does not belong. Second, it illuminates. Darkness loses its grip wherever fire burns. And so the hidden traps around you are being exposed. Third, it empowers. Fire fuels boldness. Ignite passio and strengthens your steps when your body feels weak. Chosen one, imagine carrying a lantern in a night full of shadows. Every step you take pushes the darkness back. That is the reality of the fire in you. You are not walking blind. You are walking lit by heaven's flame. And the enemy fears it because no amount of darkness can extinguish even the smallest spark. So when you comment those 3 words, you are not just responding, you are testifying. You are claiming your place as one who carries divine fire. And the more you claim it, the more the flame will grow. Chosen one, never forget this. Fire does not apologize for burning. It does not ask permission to shine. In the same way, the flame in you does not need validation from those who cannot understand it. Some will be drawn to its warmth. Others will be disturbed by its brightness, but all will know it is there. That is the sign you are chosen. So keep declaring it boldly, fire in me. Each time you do, you breathe on the flame and it rises higher. Chosen one, you stand closer to the edge than you realize. Life has felt like walking along a cliff path where one wrong step could send you into the abyss. This sense of danger is not your imagination. It is the spiritual reality of carrying a destiny. Those who are chosen often live on the thin line between breakthrough and breakdown. It feels risky, unstable, even frightening. Yet that very tension is proof of heaven's hand guarding you from falling. Imagine standing on a mountain ridge. On one side lies breathtaking views, open sheets, and promise. On the other side, steep rocks plunge you into darkness. That is where you are now. You're not wandering aimlessly. You're being led through narrow places where your footing must be sure. And though the winds howl and the path is narrow, an unseen hand steadies your steps. Many times you have asked yourself, why do I feel like I'm always on the verge of collapse? Why does it seem like I may be utterly destroyed by one more letdown? Someone walking the brink of a precipice is asking these questions. However, you need to hear this clearly. You would have already fallen if it was your destiny. Heaven always stepped in just when you thought everything was over. Inexplicably, fresh strength always appeared when the strain seemed too much to bear. In Psalms 37 verses 37 to 24, the prophet's words reverberate throughout the centuries. He could trip, but he won't fall, for the hand of the Lord sustains him. This thought isn't poetic. It is your journey's actual reality. You have made a mistake. You have faltered indeed. You haven't fallen, however, because an invisible hand won't let go. Think about the tale of a guy who was on the verge of being destroyed. He was no longer employed. His despair encircled his thoughts like shackles, and his family had doubts about him. He believed the cliff was unavoidable one night as he sat in quiet. However, a memory awoke at that very instant. His grandma used to quote a passage about God never abandoning or leaving him. That recollection turned into a rope that held him back from the brink. The abyss was not where his narrative ended. It turned into the start of his ascent. This is what being selected implies. Even when you believe everything is finished, you are lured back. You have to understand, chosen one, that the brink of the cliff represents both peril and fate. Risk because the adversary waits for any hesitancy to advance. Destiny because trust is put to the test on the brink. Where words alone cannot convey trust. Where your actions demonstrate whether or not you trust the invisible hand that is carrying you. Imagine someone walking a tightrope high above the earth. The audience finds it frightening. However, balance is learnt by the person walking. It builds trust, and each step is a brave act. Likewise, living on the edge is not a waste. It's training, so be afraid. Your balance becomes stronger with each close escape. Every near miss makes you more reliant on God's hand. Walking near the edge also has a secret advantage. You become used to traveling light. One cannot endure such a route if they are overburdened. But diversions, phony identities, and superficial affiliations are being taken away from you. You must abandon what cannot support you in order to reach the brink. It requires submission, clarity, and concentration. Selected one. Being close to the brink does not imply abandonment. On the contrary, it is the opposite. God would have left you in secure, shallow locations devoid of challenge and opportunity for development if he had intended for you to be abandoned. However, he put you on the hill to show you his might. In order for you to gaze up and not down, he permitted the height. In order for you to learn to cling on him alone, he allowed the narrowness. Whenever the terrifying plunge below occurs, remember that you are not defined by your fall. You are held by that hand. That hand has also never let you down. Selected one. Allow me to remind you, the edge is temporary. It's a season, a test stopus. Your path will broaden, just as darkness always gives way to morning. Your vision will become clear and your foothold will become strong. The edge is fleeting, but the changes it makes in you last a lifetime. Consider the example of an eagle training its offspring to fly. The eaglet is forced to jump as the nest is pushed toward the precipice. Since the eagle only finds its wings during the jump, it seems to be harshness, but is truly love. The same is true for you. It's not your end at the brink. You have been selected for this launch. A voice has been building within of you for a very long time. It was suppressed by fear, derided by skepticism, and disregarded by those who were blind to the value you had. However, the voice persisted in whispering despite the world's repeated attempts to silence it. Now that whisper is becoming a scream, and what you have sensed rising within is confirmed by this communication. Imagine a seed buried in the ground. It is first forgotten, unheard, and invisible. But life throbs in the shadows. That seed starts to push, break, and rise as the rain and sun warm. Even if it's veiled, your voice is that seed. As it awaits the designated season, it has been gaining vigor. It's that time of year. Additionally, as the voice of the selected rises, it shakes in addition to speaking. Similar like a newborn scream of life. Your words have divine power. Silence has been your heaviest chain because of this. For this reason, every effort made by the adversary was intended to silence you, keep you silent, and get you to question the sound you produce. However, the fact that you are listening indicates that the hush is ending. Verses 16 and 51 in the book of Isaiah provide us with encouragement. I've covered you with my hand's shadow and placed my words in your lips. This pledge is serious. Heaven guarantees that your words are meaningful when you speak. They are filled, protected, anointed, and selected. Your voice counts, and when voices are combined, they have a greater impact. I had to take a moment to talk from the heart. Because of this, I want you to join me in spreading this voice if these words have moved you or if you sense heaven moving through them. Spread the word so that people might discover individuals enduring their own quiet struggles. To stay in touch as the voyage progresses, subscribe. And if you are moved, lend your wealth to this cause. Let me put it simply. Imagine a lamp shining at night. A little circle is illuminated by a single lamp. However, the flame becomes brighter, stronger, and more unwavering as others pour in their oil. Making a donation here is like to adding gasoline to the fire. You choose to assist the light extend further into the darkness, not because you are coerced or under any kind of pressure. Selected one. See? It feels like striking a match to maintain the flame when you click like. Sharing is similar to bringing a flashlight into a pitch-black valley where someone is waiting for light. Subscribing is like planting a flag that says, I belong to this journey. Choosing to give is like pouring oil into the fire to keep the flame burning brightly. There is no condition on your donation. It is not necessary. It is simply an act of alignment, an offering of agreement that says, this light must not go out. Some may give much, others little, but every drop of oil makes the flame burn higher. I want you to imagine a traveler on a long road, weary, thirsty, ready to give up. Suddenly, someone ahead leaves a jug of water by the path. That small act saves the traveler's journey. That is what your generosity does. You may never see the face of the one your gift strengthens, but heaven says, and the impact echoes beyond what you can measure, chosen one. Hear my heart in this. Whether you give or not, you are loved. Whether you share or not, you are chosen. Whether you subscribe or not, your destiny remains. These invitations are never chains, only open doors. Walk through the ones that your spirit confirms. But do not let this moment pass without action. Even the smallest step like share, subscribe, or give is a seed. Seeds grow when planted. And perhaps your one small act will be the reason another chosen one hears these words and decides not to give up. So let your voice rise, not only for yourself, but for others. Because the moment you stop being silent, others find courage to do the same. And together what began as a whisper becomes a chorus, a sound the world cannot ignore. Chosen one, remember this truth. No flame survives by accident. It survives because someone tends it. In the same way, this light we share together must be nurtured. Your part, no matter how small, is like a hand shielding the fire from the wind. Together we guard it. Together we grow it. And together we make sure the darkness never wins. Chosen one, the time has come to open your eyes to the plan of heaven. You have carried questions for so long. Why me? Why this path? Why these storms? But now the pieces begin to come together. The delays, the rejections, the hidden seasons, even the heartbreaks. All have been threads in a greater design. Think of a tapestry being woven from the back. All you see are knots and tangled strings, colors crossing in chaos. It makes no sense, looks messy, even ugly. But when the tapestry is turned, a masterpiece is revealed. Your life is that tapestry. You have been staring at the tangled side, but heaven has been weaving with precision, preparing to reveal beauty that will silence your doubts. This plan is not vague. It is intentional. It is personal. It is strong enough to break the hold of darkness and gentle enough to heal the wounds of your past. And right now, that plan is unfolding. The prophet had declared in the book that bears his name. Chapter 2, verse 9. The glory of this present house will be greater than the glory of the former house. This word was spoken over a temple, but it rings true for you as well. Your future will outshine your past. What comes next will not just replace what was lost. It will surpass it. Chosen one, you must realize the danger you were in was not random. It was designed to stop you from reaching this very point. The enemy feared this unveiling. He tried to break you in silence, to keep you stuck in cycles, to make you believe you were forgotten. But look where you are. You're still here. And because you're still here, the plan can still unfold. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who waited for years with nothing but faith. People mocked him, told him he was wasting his life. His prayers seemed unanswered. But one day the season shifted. The very ground that had been barren suddenly produced a harvest so large it stunned even his enemies. When asked how he endured, he said, "I believe that silence was not abandonment. It was getting ready." Maybe that's also your tale. There is always a danger associated with the divine plan. You have to decide to trust. Section 4's cliff edge was genuine. However, so is the hand that supports you while you accept the plan. The fear that has been whispering in your ear has to be let go. You have to give up the delusion of control and think that your tapestry's tangles are intentional. Imagine a star-guided spacecraft. The whole map is hidden from the sailor's view. Just the lights above, but by lining up with them, the ship doesn't go off track. It's the same in your life. Heaven has put guiding lights, promises, words, and confirmations to keep you on track, even if you can't see the whole picture. You will arrive to the coastline that has been written for you if you follow them. I now want you to do a prophetic act, chosen one. Put this number in the space provided. 444. Don't write it off as random. It is an indication of alignment, a statement that you acknowledge the existence of heaven's plan. No, typing 444 is more than simply typing numbers. It's like putting your name on the tapestry and declaring, "I think this story is mine." You're entering into a spiritual contract. Stability is symbolized by 3 fours. Basis and heavenly fulfillment. Each force signifies that your life is safe and secure in God's plan, much like a corner of a stronghold. Allow your soul to react. Don't remain mute if your heart has been moved or if you feel the divine plan calling your name. Declare it using the digit. Let leave a mark. In this moment of alignment, a record, a testimonial. Selected one. You were in danger, but you were never destined for danger. To rescue, to redeem, to give you glory has always been the goal. Step into it now. Have faith in the writer. Have faith in the weaving. Have faith in the person who is writing your tale. Selected one. There is more than just numbers when you enter 444. It's a seal. Imagine the 4 corners of a foundation stone being laid by builders. The framework would fall apart without their corners. It may grow tall and powerful with them. Your proclamation serves as a spiritual basis in a similar manner. It says, "My life will not crumble. My future will not be stolen. My destiny is anchored." This simple act is a whisper to heaven and a roar against darkness. You are no longer wandering. You are established. And from this moment, the plan will carry you forward. Chosen one, now you must see the reality of the unseen enemies around you. Not every battle in your life has been natural. Many of the struggles, the strange resistance, the unexplainable delays have roots far deeper than circumstance. You have not only faced human opposition, you have been targeted by forces of darkness that recognize your calling before you even recognized it yourself. Imagine a battlefield hidden under a cloak. To the natural eye, the ground looks empty. But beneath the veil, warriors are clashing. Swords are striking. Arrows are flying. This is the truth of your life. You're not just moving through ordinary days. You're stepping across a battleground. And because you are chosen, the conflict around you has always been greater. Think of the times you felt a heaviness you could not explain. You woke up drained though you had rested. Opportunities slipped away without reason. Friendships fractured in ways that made no sense. These were not coincidences. They were attempts of the unseen to cut your strength, to weaken your faith, to silence your voice. But here is the mystery. Every time darkness pressed, heaven supplied. Every time the enemy attacked, unseen angels guarded. You may not have seen it, but you have been shielded more times than you know. The scriptures reveal this hidden battle. In the book of Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, it is written, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." These ancient words pull back the curtain. Your fight is not with people. It is with principalities that tremble at the destiny you carry. Chosen one, do not be afraid of this revelation. Fear is the weapon of your enemy, but knowledge is your shield. When you see the truth, you understand that every attack against you is not personal weakness, but strategic warfare. That rejection you endured, it was designed to make you doubt your worth. That cycle of delay, it was meant to convince you that nothing would ever change. That temptation knocking at your door, it was a lure to pull you off the path. Yet here you stand. If the enemy's plan had succeeded, you would not be reading this now. The very fact that you are here proves the power of God's preservation. Like a tree in a storm, you have bent but not broken. Your roots, unseen to others, have held you firm. Let me tell you of another chosen, one who once walked through such battles. A man who tried to live quietly but was haunted by constant resistance. Every time he stepped toward his calling, obstacles rose like walls. For years he thought he was cursed, until one day, through prayer, he realized the walls were not curses, they were proof of his value. He began to see that the more opposition he faced, the more significant his assignment must be. From that day, he stopped fearing the walls and began climbing them. That shift turned his life around. So it is with you. Opposition is confirmation. Resistance is evidence. The warfare around your life is a mirror of the greatness within your life. Picture a diamond being tested under pressure. The more pressure applied, the more its brilliance is revealed. You're that diamond. Hell has pressed, but heaven has preserved. Darkness has struck, but light has risen. You may feel weary, but you are not defeated, chosen one. You must remember that unseen enemies are not eternal. Their days are numbered. Their reach is limited, and their power crumbles in the face of truth. That is why your greatest weapon is not fear, not striving, but standing in the reality of who you are. A chosen one cannot be unchosen. A marked life cannot be erased. A sealed destiny cannot be stolen. Lift your eyes from the shadows and see what has always been true. You are guarded. You are armed. You are surrounded by heaven's armies. The enemies that stalk you in secret will one day be revealed as powerless in the light of God's glory. Chosen one, take courage in this. Every arrow aimed at you has already been intercepted more times than you realize. The fact that you are alive, still moving, still listening is living proof. Think of a fortress on a hill. Enemies may surround it, but the higher ground belongs to the fortress. That is where you stand now. On higher ground, arts might come, but they cannot break the walls heaven has built around you. You are not unprotected. You are hidden, lifted, and shielded, chosen one. There's a line in time when mercy feels like it begins to draw back. It is not that God abandons, but that he allows the weight of choices to press harder, urging the soul to awaken. You are standing at such a threshold. The path before you is narrowing, and delay is no longer safe. Think of a doorway slowly closing. At first, it is wide, generous, inviting, but as time passes, the gap shrinks. A moment comes when hesitation means the door is shut. This is the image of mercy's final call. It is not to frighten you, but to remind you that divine opportunities are not endless. They're sacred windows, and you are in one right now. Perhaps you have felt this urgency in your spirit, like something telling you, I cannot put this off any longer. That stirring is not random. It is heaven calling. Because every time we resist the pull of God, the heart grows a little harder, the eyes a little dimmer, the ears a little more deaf to his voice. Delay is not neutral. It is dangerous. The scriptures warn us through the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 15. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as you did in the rebellion. These words echo like a trumpet. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. The urgency of heaven is always in the present tense. Chosen one, I must speak with clarity here. The danger of ignoring this call is not that you will instantly fall. It is that slowly, kitly, your spirit loses sensitivity. Like a candle left untended, the flame weakens until only smoke remains. That is why heaven interrupts you now before the smoke, before the silence, to reignite what still burns inside. Think of a man standing at the edge of a river. The current is strong, carrying him forward. If he steps in while the bridge is still open, he crosses safely. But if he waits too long, the waters rise and the crossing becomes impossible. Timing is everything. So it is with your soul. The bridge is still before you, but the current grows stronger by the day. There was once a young chosen, one who sensed this urgency, but delayed. Each time he felt conviction, he silenced it with distractions. He thought there would always be time, but slowly he found a voice grew quieter. What was once a loud call became a whisper, then silence. His story is a warning. Do not confuse God's patience with his permission. Mercy is a gift, but it is not a license to drift endlessly. It is meant to lead us to alignment, to surrender to life. Delay dishonors that gift. Delay treats the urgent as optional. Chosen one, I do not speak these words to weigh you down with fear, but to awaken you with truth. The cliff you walked in section 4 was real. The enemies revealed in section 7 are real. And this threshold you now face is just as real. But it is also hope, because the door is still open. The bridge is still standing. The voice is still calling. Imagine a clock tower in a silent town. Each strike of the bell echoes through the streets, marking time, reminding all who hear it that moments are passing. This message is such a bell. Heaven is striking it for you now, reminding you that the moment to choose is here. Do not think that your heart is too cold or your past too heavy. Mercy is calling, not because you deserve it, but because you're loved. That is why this interruption matters. You are one decision away from restoration, one surrender away from clarity, one step away from the life you were created to live. So hear it clearly. Mercy is not gone. It is here, but is also calling urgently. Your answer matters. Your response shapes the path ahead. This threshold is not an end. It is an invitation. Walk through it while it is open, and you will find the embrace you have always longed for. Chosen one, do not mistake this urgency for pressure. It is not the push of fear, but the pull of love. Heaven's voice is like a shepherd calling the lost sheep, not with anger, but with longing. Picture a lighthouse on a stormy coast. Its beam does not scream. It simply shines, steady and clear. The ships that see it know where to turn. In the same way, this call is your lighthouse. It is steady, it is clear, and it is pointing you towards safety before the waves grow stronger. Chosen one, this is the moment of breaking. The chains that have held you for so long are rattling, trembling, weakening under the weight of heaven's power. You have walked through rejection, through hidden battles, through the edge of collapse. And yet the story does not end there. The story is turning here. The prisons of your past are beginning to open. Think of an iron gate, roost, heavy, long shut. People may say it will never open again, but then a key turns, and with one push the hinges break free. That is what surrender does in your life. It is the key that breaks the gate. For years, cycles have repeated. You try to break habits, to escape patterns, to silence voices that kept dragging you back. And yet, each time you felt trapped again, but now the presence of God is speaking freedom over you. Not tomorrow, not next season, Now the apostle writes in his second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 17. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. That is not theory. It is reality. The Spirit is here, and so freedom is here. Chosen one, listen closely. Your identity is not your chains. Your worth is not your wounds. Your destiny is not your mistakes. The enemy tried to convince you that bondage was permanent, that the cell was your home. But the truth is this: you were never meant to live behind bars. You were always meant to walk free. I want you to do something simple, yet powerful. Write these words below. I walk free. 3 words, just 3. But those words are a declaration to heaven and to hell. They announce that you no longer belong to cycles of despair. They mark your agreement with the power of freedom. When you type, I walk free, you're not just commenting. You are declaring your release. You are stamping your testimony in public. Even in this small way, you're saying my past will not chain me. My future will not be stolen. My soul will not stay bound. It is not the comment box that matters. It is the courage to speak truth even in a few words. And as you write it, let your spirit believe it. Chains may rattle as if they still hold you, but rattling is proof they are breaking. Resistance is proof of freedom pushing through. Think of a bird whose cage door has been unlocked. At first, the bird hesitates, unsure if the sky is truly open. But then one leap and the wings spread. That first flight is terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. That is your moment now. You are stepping out of cages into skies. You are born to fill. Do not despise small beginnings. Even the smallest step of faith carries the weight of heaven's power. Even a 3-word comment can echo like thunder in the unseen world. Chosen one, you are free. Not because chains never existed, but because they no longer define you. The door is open. The Spirit is here. And freedom is your portion. Chosen one, let me take you deeper into this truth. When you declare, I walk free, you are doing something that may feel small on the outside, but shakes foundations in the spirit. Why? Because words have power. The same God who spoke light into existence has placed that creative force inside you. When you speak, things shift. Think of a lock rusted shut. It may look immovable, but when the right word is spoken, it is as if a master key slides in and turns effortlessly. That is what your declaration does. You are not begging for freedom. You are agreeing with the freedom that has already been given to you. The lock has been waiting for you to turn the key. And what happens when chains break first? There is weight lifted. You will notice your mind growing lighter, your spirit less burdened, your heart beginning to breathe again. Then comes movement. The places where you once felt stuck begin to open. New opportunities align, and steps that were impossible before suddenly become possible. Finally, there is testimony. Every chosen one who walks out of chains becomes a signpost for others still trapped. Your freedom is not only for you. It becomes a torch to lead others out of darkness. So when you write, I walk free, remember this. You're not just saying words. You are igniting keys, lifting weight, creating movement, and lighting torches. Your comment is a prophecy over your own life and a beacon for someone else still searching for the door. Chosen one, can you feel it? The crown of fire that was always meant for you is now drawing near. It is not a crown of gold that tarnishes nor jewels that fade, but a crown of authority, of destiny, of divine fire. This crown is not handed lightly. It rests only on those who endure, who remain, who choose to rise when everything tried to make them fall. Think of a blacksmith's forge. Raw metal, dull and shapeless, is placed in fire. It screams, it bends, it glows. Strike after strike, the hammer falls. Yet what comes out of that furnace is not broken. It is transformed into something strong, sharp, and radiant. That is what your life has been. The fire was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to crown you. And what does this crown mean? It means your words carry weight. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your prayers shake walls. It means you are no longer surviving. You are ruling in the Spirit. You carry a mantle of authority that darkness cannot counterfeit. The scriptures remind us in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. This is not a distant promise for another time alone. It is a reflection of your present reality. The fire has marked you, and heaven recognizes you as royalty, chosen one. I need you to hear this part clearly. When God crowns someone, the world may not see it immediately, but the unseen realm does. Hell trembles when it sees the flame on your head. Angels rally when they see the seal of fire resting on you. And here is where you play a part. A crown does not shine alone. It shines brighter when others witness it, when its light spreads, when its story is told. That is why I ask you from the heart, like this message, not as a duty, but as a testimony that your crown is real. Share it, because somewhere another chosen one waits in silence, desperate to know that their fire has not gone out. Subscribe, because royalty does not walk alone. We walk as a family, as a kingdom, growing together. And if you feel stirred to go further, then bring your oil. Donate if your spirit leads you. Not because you are forced, but because generosity is the language of kings and queens. Just as oil keeps a lamp burning through the night, your gift is oil that keeps this flame shining for others. Think of it like planting a tree. When you plant, you may not sit under its shade immediately, but generations after you will. Your act of giving is such a seed. It will grow into testimonies you may never hear, into lives transformed you may never meet. And heaven records it all. Or picture a river flowing. One drop seems small, but when many drops gather, the river becomes unstoppable, carving fallas, feeding fields, giving life. Your drop matters. Your generosity, whether small or great, joins the current that carries this message further into places of drought, where someone is thirsty for hope. But know this, chosen one. Whether you give or not, you are still crowned. Whether you subscribe or not, you are still chosen. These invitations are not chains, but open doors. Walk through the ones your spirit confirms. Do not feel pressure. Feel possibility. Do not feel weight. Feel wonder. Because when a crown rests on your head, you no longer live as a survivor. You live as one sent, one called, one burning with the fire of heaven. And every act of agreement like share, subscribe, or give is not about supporting me, but about strengthening what heaven has placed inside you. It is your way of saying this fire will not die in me, and I will help it burn in others too. And so let the crown rest. Let the fire glow. Let the world see what heaven already knows. You are chosen and you are crowned. Chosen one. Pause and picture this. A torch lifted high on a dark night. Its flame not only lights the path for the one who carries it, but also for those walking behind. That is the beauty of your crown. It is not selfish. It is generous. Every flicker of fire on your life becomes guidance for others. And when you choose to let your actions like share, subscribe, or give be oil to this flame, you are not fueling just one torch, but a procession of lights that will march forward into the world's deepest valleys, chosen one. There comes a moment in every story when the hero receives the assignment. Until that moment, everything seems uncertain, wandering, waiting, searching without clarity. But once the assignment is revealed, the path sharpens, and every past struggle begins to make sense. That moment has come for you. Your life has not been random. The nights of wrestling, the days of silence, the battles no one else understood, they were not wasted. They were training. They were chiseling you into the vessel heaven needed for the mission only you can carry. Others may resemble you, but no one else carries your exact assignment. Imagine a key crafted by a master blacksmith. Its grooves, its cuts, its unique shape may look imperfect to the eye, yet it is designed for one lock and one lock only. You are that key. Every cut, every scar, every unusual shape of your story was preparing you for a door no one else can open. The assignment before you is the lock, and you alone were made to fit it. Do you see the pattern? Joseph's dreams made no sense until famine came. Esther's beauty and courage seemed ordinary until her people faced annihilation. Moses' wilderness years looked wasted until a nation cried for deliverance. So it is with you. Every season that looked like delay was actually preparation for your assignment. The scriptures guide us in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. This is not just comfort. It is a commissioning. To be chosen is to be commanded. To be commanded is to be trusted. And to be trusted is to be sent. Chosen one. Your assignment may not look grand in the eyes of the world. It may be to speak words of life where death has settled, to build bridges where division reigns, to lift one's soul who feels forgotten. Or it may be larger than you can imagine, nations, generations, legacies. But whether small or great in appearance, the weight is eternal. Heaven does not measure by size, but by obedience. Think of a candle placed in a dark room. To one person, it is just a flame. To another, it is the difference between stumbling and walking safely. You do not know who waits in the darkness for the light you carry. Your assignment may be the spark that keeps someone else alive. Let me tell you of a young woman who once thought her life was meaningless. She worked quietly unnoticed, convinced her struggles had no purpose. One day, in a moment of obedience, she spoke a word of encouragement to a stranger. That stranger was on the edge of giving up entirely. Her single sentence turned his path. Years later, he would become a leader who touched thousands, and it all began with one assignment fulfilled. So it is with you. Do not underestimate the impact of your obedience. The assignment in your hand may look like a stone, but in the right moment, it will become a sling that slays giants. And do not think you are unqualified. The very flaws you hide are often the very tools heaven uses. Moses stuttered, yet spoke to Pharaoh. David was overlooked, yet crowned. Peter denied, yet preached with fire. Heaven's pattern is clear. Weakness offered becomes strength multiplied. Chosen one, the assignment you carry will cost you. It will ask for sacrifice, for courage, for trust. But the cost is not loss. It is investment. You trade temporary comfort for eternal impact. And when you look back, you will see that every step was worth it. Lift your eyes. Then do not shrink from this moment. The assignment is here, and it is yours. Heaven trusts you with it. The world awaits it. And though unseen enemies rage, they cannot stop it because the one who commanded you also promised to walk with you. This is your sending. This is your mission. This is your time. Chosen one, understand this clearly. The weight of your assignment is not a burden meant to crush you, but wings meant to lift you. A bird may feel the weight of its wings until it learns to fly. And then what once felt heavy becomes the very thing that carries it higher. So it is with you. Your mission is not chains. It is flight. And every step you take in obedience writes history, not only in your own life, but in the lives of countless others you may never meet. That is the sacred mystery of your assignment. Chosen one, what heaven places in your hands, it seals with promise. You are not wandering under chance. You are walking under covenant. Every battle, every delay, every unanswered prayer has been pressing you toward this moment of assurance. The seal of God is not fragile. It is unshakable, unbreakable, eternal. Think of a king's ring pressed in a hot wax. That impression cannot be erased by wind or washed away by rain. It remains as the symbol of authority, ownership, and security. So it is with you. God's seal rests upon your life. No storm can wash it away. No enemy can counterfeit it. No failure can dissolve it. The scriptures proclaim in the second letter to Timothy chapter 2, verse 19. Nevertheless, God's solid foundation stands firm, sealed with this inscription. The Lord knows those who are his. This truth is more than poetry. It is a legal decree. You are known. You are claimed. You are marked. Chosen one. You may wonder if I am sealed. Why do I still face battles? The answer is simple. The seal does not prevent storms. It proves survival. A ship bearing the king's seal may still cross rough seas. But the mark declares, this vessel belongs to the king, and it will reach its destination. That vessel is you. The waves may rise, but your seal guarantees arrival. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who felt forgotten. Every plan he made collapsed. Every opportunity slipped away. He believed he was cursed. But one night in prayer, he felt a sudden assurance flood his heart. "You're mine." That was the seal from that day. Even when storms came, he carried peace. He was not drifting. He was carried. His life became a testimony that being sealed does not mean escape from trouble. It means certainty of victory. Chosen one, hear me. The seal of promise on your life means the battles you face will never define your end. It means accusations lose their voice. It means no weapon formed against you can prosper. Not because weapons will not rise, but because the seal says denied. Think of a letter carried across dangerous lands. Bandits may try to steal it. Storms may try to ruin it. But when it reaches its destination, the seal is unbroken. That seal proves authenticity, ownership, and authority. In the same way, when you arrive at your destiny, the mark of God on you will prove you were carried by heaven's hand. And now, chosen one, make this moment your prophetic act. Write this number below. 555. Do not treat it as random digits. This is your agreement, your testimony that you recognize the seal upon your life. Why? 555. Because it symbolizes grace multiplied, a triple echo of heaven's favor, stability, and covering. Each 5 is like a banner waving over you. Grace for your past, grace for your present, grace for your future. When you write 555, you are saying, I am sealed in grace, and no storm can unmark me. So let it be written, not just on a screen, but on your heart. You are not drifting aimlessly. You are not unclaimed. You are not forgotten. You are sealed, and your seal cannot be broken. Chosen one, let's go deeper into the meaning of this number. When you type 555, it is not superstition. It is revelation. 5 has always been the number of grace. The open hand of God extended toward his people. When it is spoken 3 times, it becomes an unshakable confirmation that grace surrounds you on every side, above, below, within. Picture yourself walking through a desert. The sun beats down, the ground cracks, and hope feels scarce. Suddenly, you come upon 3 wells. One is for your thirst from the past. One is for the strength you need today, and one is for the journey that still lies ahead. That is what 555 represents. 3 wells of grace on sewering you never run dry. Or imagine a fortress with 3 great towers, each one guarding a side of the wall. Enemies might circle, storms may rise, but the towers stand, declaring that the city within is secure. 555 is such a fortress for your life. It is the seal that no weapon can breach, the promise that you are covered from every angle. And here is the mystery. When you declare this number, you're not trying to create grace. You are acknowledging the grace already surrounding you. It is like lifting your head to notice the canopy of trees above you, shading and protecting you even when you are unaware. So do not write King isolately. Write with faith. Write it as covenant. Write it as testimony that you are sealed. You are marked, and grace has claimed every step of your journey. Chosen one, every wilderness you walked was not wasted. Every barren place, every unanswered prayer, every lonely night, they were not signs of abandonment, but stages of preparation. You see, before a throne is given, a wilderness must be endured. It is in the silence of deserts that kings and queens are formed. Think of Israel wandering 40 years. To the outside, it looked like delay, like wasted time. But in truth, the wilderness was their classroom. There they learned dependence, resilience, and trust. Without the wilderness, they would not have had the strength to inherit the promised land. So it is with you. What you thought was wasted was training. Perhaps you recall nights when your prayers hit silence, when heaven seemed closed, when all you could hear was your own sighs. Yet even in that silence, something deeper was happening. Your roots were stretching. Your faith was toughening. Your vision was sharpening. Silence is not absence. It is development. The scriptures affirm this in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 10. And the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered a little, while himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. Do you see? Suffering is not the end. It is the soil from which strength, firmness, and steadfastness grow. Chosen one. Think of a caterpillar sealed inside its cocoon. To any observer, it looks lifeless, trapped, forgotten. But within, transformation is taking place. When the time is right, the cocoon breaks and the butterfly emerges. The struggle was necessary for the wings to strengthen. Your wilderness was your cocoon. Painful, yes, but essential for your flight. Let me share with you a story. There was once a young man called into leadership before his rise. He endured years of obscurity, working jobs beneath his skills, living in places that seemed far from his dreams. Friends mocked him, calling him foolish for believing his life carried purpose. Yet every day he prayed. Every day he chose trust over bitterness. Years later, when opportunity came, he was ready, not because the crown appeared suddenly, but because the wilderness had prepared him to wear it. Your story carries the same rhythm. The throne ahead of you requires strength that only the wilderness can forge. Without rejection, you would not have learned discernment. Without silence, you would not have cultivated patience. Without storms, you would not know the depth of your resilience. Picture an olive pressed in a mill. Only under pressure does the oil flow. In the same way, only under pressure has your anointing been revealed. The oil on your life is costly because the pressing was costly. But now that oil will be the mark of your reign, chosen one. Your wilderness was not punishment. It was positioning. It stripped away what could not survive at the throne. It humbled you so pride would not poison your authority. It tested you so weakness would not rule you. Every tear, every ache, every lonely step shaped you for elevation. And now the shift is near. The wilderness will give way to the throne. What once felt like delay will be revealed as design. What felt like silence will be remembered as shaping. And you will stand, not broken by your wilderness, but crowned because of it. So do not despise where you have been. Embrace it. Thank God for it. For the very desert you cursed will one day be remembered as the place where you found your strength, where you met your God, where you became unshakable, chosen one. Your throne awaits, and when you sit upon it, you will know without doubt the wilderness was worth it. Chosen one, think of this. The wilderness was never meant to be your grave. It was meant to be your forge. A forge is hot, uncomfortable, even unbearable. But it is also where raw metal becomes a weapon of strength. Every trial that scorched you is shaping you into something sharper, something stronger, something unbreakable. And though you once asked, why me? Why must my road be so hard? The answer is this. Because the throne you are being prepared for demands a soul that cannot be shaken. Only those who survive the desert can handle the crown. Only those who endure obscurity can carry glory without being destroyed by it. So lift your head. The dust of the wilderness on your shoulders will soon be brushed away by the robe of royalty. The tears that fell unseen in the desert will soon sparkle like jewels in your crown. What looked like delay was destiny in disguise. What looked like the end was only the beginning of your rise. Chosen one, lift your eyes and see you are not alone. Though your journey has felt isolated, though your nights of weeping seemed solitary, though your path through the wilderness felt deserted, you are part of something far larger. There is an army awakening, a host of chosen ones like you, stirred by the same spirit, rising in the same hour. Think of dry bones scattered across a valley. Each one silent, lifeless, forgotten. Yet when the wind of God breathes, the bones rattle, connect, and form a great army. That vision was not just for ancient times. It is a prophecy of this generation. What once looked scattered is now uniting. What once lay dormant is now rising. You have felt the loneliness of your calling. But heaven is revealing that you are not the only one marked across nations, across languages, across cultures. Others are awakening. They too have carried the hidden fire. They too have endured storms. They too have walked the cliff's edge and the wilderness. And now the time has come for the scattered to stand together. The scriptures declare in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 7, they charge like warriors. They scale walls like soldiers. They all march in line, not swerving from their course. This is the picture of the army you belong to. disciplined, relentless, unshakably. Each chosen one carrying their flame, yet moving as one body. Chosen one. Consider how armies move. One soldier alone may fall, but when ranks unite, their strength multiplies. One voice alone may be silenced, but when voices join, the sound becomes thunder. That is what is happening now. The sound of awakening is rising across the earth, and you are part of the chorus. Perhaps you have felt invisible, unseen by those around you. But invisibility was never abandonment. It was camouflage. Heaven hid you until the appointed time. And now the veil is lifting. You will begin to see others carrying the same mark. You will recognize them not by appearance, but by spirit. When your fire meets theirs, there will be instant resonance like sparks igniting a greater blaze. Let me share a story. A woman once believed she was utterly alone in her faith. Her family opposed her. Her friends mocked her, and she carried her prayers in silence. Then one day, unexpectedly, she met another whose eyes carried the same flame. That encounter gave her strength she did not know she needed. For the first time, she realized her loneliness was an illusion. She was part of a much greater movement. So it is with you. You may not have met them yet, but others are on their way. Heaven is orchestrating alignments, weaving paths together, forming networks of chosen ones who will strengthen each other. And when they gather, no darkness can withstand their light. Think of torches scattered across a dark field alone. Each one lights a small circle, but as they draw near, their flames merge, creating a wildfire that no wind can extinguish. That is the power of the army you belong to. Chosen one, your battles were never meant to be fought in isolation. They were training for unity. Your scars will not make you an outcast. They will make you a general. Others will look to your survival as proof that they too can endure. And together your collective stories will form the testimony that shatters chains across nations. So stand tall. Do not shrink back. The loneliness of your past is giving way to the fellowship of the awakened. You are not an orphan in the spirit. You are a soldier in the greatest army ever assembled. And when the army marches, the world will know that chosen ones have risen. Chosen one, pause for a moment and imagine the sound of footsteps. Thousands moving together across the earth. At first it is faint like a distant echo, but then it grows louder, stronger like rolling thunder.